Hey guys, Level Cap here, and the Battlefield 6 multiplayer reveal will happen tomorrow. I'll have the opportunity to live stream gameplay here on my YouTube channel starting at around 11:30 a.m., so make sure that you're here and we can find out what the next Battlefield game is going to be like together. Now, at the time of recording this video, I have still not played Battlefield 6, so I can tell you legitimately that I am very excited to find out what the next game plays like, but I'd be lying if I thought that the next game was going to have an easy time of building back its core fan base. Today, I want to discuss some of my thoughts on what I think the next Battlefield game has to achieve, and also what I think some of the big studios need to embrace in order to stay relevant and appealing to an ever-changing market. And hopefully today's video will give you an idea of what I'm going to be looking for when I play the game on the 31st. Now, based on what's been shown officially or even leaked about the game, we know some things for certain about what Battlefield 6 is going to offer. We know it's modern military. It hasn't really shown off any futuristic tech so far, and stylistically, it looks the most similar, in my opinion anyway, to Battlefield 3. And personally, I feel like this was EA's only good choice for the theme of their next game. It's been over a decade since Battlefield 4 released, which was the studio's last attempt to make a modern military title. And many people hail the BF3 and BF4 era of Battlefield as its golden years, so it makes sense for them to go back, and frankly, it's probably my #1 pick for what the next theme of the game would be. Now, when it comes to what the leaked footage from Battlefield Labs has told us about the game, things are looking promising. The gameplay leaks have shown substantial progress from the early white box testing to a much more polished, refined looking experience. Again, an experience that reminds me a lot of Battlefield 3, and I say BF3 over BF4 where both games have a very similar appearance in many ways, but Battlefield 3 had much more tight-knit map designs which BF4 started to stray away from. And in my opinion, Battlefield 3 maps offered much more methodical gameplay, and it appears, at least with the leaked footage, that this game is following much more closely in BF3's map design footsteps. And this is very encouraging to see. Personally, this is really just checking off the boxes on my dream Battlefield game wish list. However, DICE has made a lot of missteps over the years, and it's hard for me to believe that they're somehow going to magically just right all their wrongs and avoid the usual pitfalls that this AAA studio has made so many times before. It's still a big studio that has to plan things out from day one and minimize risk, and unfortunately, this is kind of an industry-wide problem with AAA game dev. It means big franchises like Battlefield, Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, they just take less risks, and it leads to stagnation, and if not careful, potentially the death of great franchises that are just too afraid to evolve with the times. And I am worried that that could happen with Battlefield 6. Now mind you, I haven't played the game yet, so I could be wrong, and frankly, I hope I am wrong. But from what I've seen from the trailer and the leaks, it does look like Battlefield 6 is playing it pretty safe. There's been very little leaked or shown off so far that feels truly new or unique when compared to the other titles. The thing that sets it apart from previous Battlefield games isn't immediately clear. Sure, it's got better graphics, more refinement and whatnot, but there isn't something that says this is why this game is different. Maybe that's kind of the point. Maybe this time around DICE is saying, we're just going to drill down deep into what the Battlefield experience is and just refine what we've already innovated over many years. Better graphics, better gunplay, more refined destruction. Maybe it does everything better, and that's what will set this game apart. It's just going to be a refined Battlefield. Maybe it's a series of lots of tiny, nuanced changes that when combined will make the quality of life so much better than previous Battlefield games. The experience will feel fresh and inviting by comparison. But that is a lot of maybes, and since DICE's last modern military Battlefield game, so much has changed in the gaming space. To put it into perspective, royales and extraction shooters were not big in the game space when Battlefield 4 dropped. Survival shooters, even streaming video games, which seems almost comical at this point, were not huge when Battlefield 4 launched. Sure, it was a thing and it was growing, but it hadn't hit the mainstream like it has today. Not to mention the competition from the indie scene was nowhere near what it is now, with a wealth of competing FPS titles from smaller studios that cater to all different types of military simulation experiences. So the question I keep asking myself is, will this classic shooter formula of Battlefield hold up in today's market? Will it justify EA's massive budget for this title and deliver a return on their investment? Truly, I don't know, but I hope so. There is a purity in some of these classic formulas, one that can be lost or forgotten in time. And in my opinion, DICE as a studio has always done best when they stop chasing trends and instead stick with what they do best. A large sandbox shooter with incredible and accessible teamwork. There's a lot of depth to be had there, a lot of drilling down that can be done, and I have a feeling that we're going to see a lot of cool, nuanced changes in the next title. But I'm also worried that they might not be pushing it far enough. It's so hard to say. I'm both excited and scared for the next game. It looks like the smart play, but it also looks like the safe play, and sometimes that's not enough in this market. We're seeing a lot of medium-sized studios pop up that are putting in big AAA level production quality to their games, but they're keeping their designs flexible, they're innovating, they're experimenting. Embark Studios is a company that comes to mind that is putting out game products that feel extremely well polished and refined like you would get from any AAA studio, but they're giving themselves enough flexibility to have fun and experiment and find things that are cool and make mistakes and pivot and change the direction. This is something that is really hard for bigger studios that are a little bit more weighed down by traditional ways of producing a game. I think these big companies got used to controlling the market so heavily and building a production lifecycle around this control that they're having a hard time adapting to the new era. Battlefield 6, I think, is truly going to tell us whether or not DICE has it in them to update, innovate, and prepare Battlefield for the next generation of gamers. I am, of course, biased. I'm rooting for DICE. I'm rooting for Battlefield. I want it to be good, and hopefully we can all find out together tomorrow. Again, drop by this channel tomorrow at around 11:30 a.m. I think that's probably approximately when we're going to be kicking off some streams for Battlefield 6. I'm super excited to play it live and sort of have reactions with you guys. I have no idea if I'm going to be squatted up with other players or if I'm just going to be chatting with you guys, but it'll be exciting. Also, I'd be really curious to hear what you guys think about this subject. Let me know in the comments below. Do you think that these big studios need to be more flexible and try new things, or do you think that there is sort of a magic in the classic formula and it doesn't really need to be changed? As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.